All right. It looks like we are live, actually. That was a quick one today. Come on. What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday to you, whether it's morning, nighttime, early in the morning, afternoon, all the good things in between. Hope you guys have had a safe and sound couple of days. And yeah, we're here, Beyond the Beats, episode 59. I'm very excited today to talk to this man here. And again, episode 59, we keep on going. I hope everybody's been practicing beatboxing, getting some new sounds, new patterns, and refining their sounds as they go along. Make sure that you guys go and put comments in the section below, give this video a like, all that good stuff. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Swiss Beatbox. Come on, get after it. Let's go. But jumping in directly today, we have a guy that I've known for a good long while, been around this scene for a good long while. So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing you to Sung Lee, aka Sung the Yoon the Lee, aka, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sung Beats.
What is going on?
What's up, brother?
What's good, Scott Jackson? I like the fact that you put the Yoon in there. Nobody really knows that's like my middle name, you know, the second part of my name.
Hey, the original name that you use when you're on stage.
Yeah, I mean, before Sung Beats, I used to be Sung Lee Beatbox. That was
Sung
like
Lee
the stage name I went by. And then over time, like, people just said, just use Sung Beats, just do it, man. And I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Well, the first videos I could find of you really actually performing were at some sort of festival. It was like a harvest festival. And it was like from 2007, I think, where it was a video of you. So we went deep on this. I tried to go and find some stuff.
Dude, I can't even think about a harvest gig that I did in 2007. That was like high school.
Yeah, man. It's a video of you, and you're out on you're out on this stage. It's like a blue banner type of thing. It's a big stage, and there's like a huge field in front of you performing. And you said, wait, and even then you said 2007. You're like, this is a throwback to when I was performing. So it might have been one of your first gigs at a festival, some sort of harvest festival.
Was I wearing a yellow shirt by any chance?
You might have been. You might have been.
You gotta send me that video because I don't know what you're talking about. I may have done a couple of festivals back then.
Hey, it's all starting off from somewhere, but we'll talk about that, man. Anyways, yeah. It's good to have you on the show. Thanks for jumping on. And usually when I start off, I try to go and start off correctly and just be getting right after it. So before we go and start and talking about your career, thoughts on the beatbox world, stuff coming up for you, are you down to do a little showcase to kick things off on the right note?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, right here, episode 59. We are sitting with Sung Beats. This guy's going to go and smash it up. He's getting his headphones on, so he's getting his loop station ready to go. I'm excited to go and see what he's going to be bringing to the table for GBB this year. So, ladies and gentlemen, episode 59. We got Sung Beats coming at you live and direct on Swiss Beatbox. You already know what to do if you're sitting at home. I say the 3, y'all say the 2 and the 1. Let's get into it in 3.
Break it down. One, two, three, here we go. On the count of 3, I'm gonna drop this beat. And we're gonna bounce. You ready, Scott? 1, 2, 3, let's go. Beyond the beats. Beatbox. Make some noise.
Let's go. Ish. Yo, comes correct. Just before we jumped on this call, he didn't even have his loop station set up and everything. I asked him, like, could you put the loop station together? He threw it together and like a consummate professional jumped on and came correct. When you come on Beyond the Beats, you come correct with those beats like Sung did. Come on. Oh man, it's good to have you on here again, man. As I said, I'm excited to go and see what you're gonna bring to the stage this year at GBB, and I'm excited to go and I've seen you perform for a good long while now, and I've seen your progression, but it's just crazy. So right off the bat, though, I want to go and ask you a question of, you're a single loop station guy. You don't have a secondary device. So just that I can see, maybe you're holding back, maybe there's some surprises and stuff. So could you just comment on the idea of loop station battles using a single device? Is there a secondary device that you're thinking about using that you can talk about if it's not under wraps? Or just your general thoughts on how the loop station world is progressing, having either a singular device or adding other devices to it?
Right. Well, I guess I'm coming out with the truth, but I have 2 RC505s that I'm working on, developing my style with. I haven't done a single video on 2 devices yet. Like, I've been keeping it like a little bit of a secret. But yeah, I'm using the 2 bosses. Before I got the second device as a Boss RC505, I was trying some different devices. I had the GT1000, and like I think I got inspired by some of Christoph's videos, and then I started to like play around with the GT1000, and like, man, the learning curve was steep on that one. So like I kind of like gave up on that, put it aside for a little bit, and then just got a second RC505, and it seems like that is kind of the style. Using 2 bosses it's just more intuitive for me. Like, I like, because I've been using it for so long, I know the effects better and all of that. So yeah, GBB I'll probably be using too. What I think about in general, my thoughts about second devices and stuff. It doesn't matter, man. As long as the music is good, whether it's 1 device or 2 devices, as long as the music is good, that's what counts. I mean, that's been proven too in the last, GBB 2019. We had a ton of people with just 1 device kill it. So that's my thoughts on that.
And do you think a subject that's come up in different discussions is the idea of having a possibility eventually of having a solo single device category and then a multiple device category? Is that something that you think would make sense to you, or is that just a comment on?
I don't know, man. I feel like that would just confuse everybody. I mean, for the beatbox community, yeah, we understand what that means, like the separate categories, but like for the the layperson that's watching, an observer, like they're not gonna know they're not gonna really like know the difference between 1 device and 2 devices, like it's like the way we understand it. So I think it'll add a little bit of confusion, to be honest. But at the same time, I understand, like, it's almost like a different art form using 1 device versus 2. It's like there's so many more possibilities on the second one. It's tough, man. Like, I would still keep it 1 category though. Personally, yeah.
True. And how have you found your trainings going with a second loop station? Because again, I've saw videos of you from way long ago getting into looping and doing the performing at, you know, Union Square and whatnot. But like to have such knowledge and comfortability with your single RC505, how does it feel to have a second one there? And what's the learning curve on that? Because you know it, you know the machine, but using two of them together, how has that been for you to transfer over?
It's been pretty smooth. I mean, the effects are all the same. I mean, there's just a little bit more space, I guess, because there's more loops, and you can build the beats much faster actually, because you have like access to the effects on the second device. You could just like press a bunch of them at the same time, and then just like the speed is a big factor. You could build a beat really quick. One of the things that made kind of using one device difficult is that just sometimes it takes too long to build a beat, and then you can lose the crowd at times, you know. I've seen a lot of like battles go that way. Like they're taking too much time in the beginning, and then they drop it really hard at the end, but like they just feels like they wasted like a good 1 or 2 minutes building the beat. So I'm not a fan of that. I want to build a beat like as quickly as possible and get the crowd moving and dancing as soon as possible.
Absolutely, and that's kind of like a thing that comes out of busking and street performing, because once you have a crowd, you don't want to lose them and spend necessarily the time. Like I used to do a bunch of street performing too, so I could connect on that feeling of being like, all right, now I got to go and get to my next one, or you know.
That's so true. That's crazy how you bring that up. I think that's where it comes from actually. Like the reason why I try to build my stuff so quick is because, you know, when you're busking, you're right. Like people are just walking around, they're not paying attention to you. Usually, you have to like learn how to work the crowd in, like build the crowd from scratch. And in order to do that, you need to like captivate them, really like their attention as fast as possible within like the first, you know, couple of seconds. Like you just want to start off really aggressive and like get the beat going early. So that's kind of a busking strategy. I've been doing that for a long time. Just make sure the beat comes in early, you know, the bass line comes in early, and don't waste time. Just like loop one thing and then immediately after loop the next thing. Don't even wait. Just 1, 2.
Absolutely. No, I fully agree with you, and it's good to get hitting like that too, because I was watching when you did the 2019 Loop Masters. That was a 15-minute showcase, you know, a full 15 minutes, but you still went right into it, directly started getting into the beats and got people moving, and then had that longevity to the set. So when you think about doing longer sets as a looper, does it come like just set structure? What goes through your mind when you're setting up a set, when you, obviously depending on the crowd, but usually what happens when you think about, okay, I have a 30-minute set, I have a 20-minute set, and different set times and lengths that aren't just a specific round. So comparatively to beatbox battle rounds, but what goes through your mind when you're setting up a full 15-minute, 20-minute set for a festival and or you know, like you did at Loop Masters?
You know what's crazy? Most of my sets, because I do a lot of college gigs, like that's my main kind of type of gig. All my sets are an hour long. So in order to work a whole hour with beatboxing, like you need some variety. So what I normally do is I start solo beatboxing. That will get them like, you know, to understand what it is, just the raw beatboxing. And then I bring a loop station. But like the very first few songs I do on a loop station, no effects. Like it's just, I tell them this is all my voice. I'm going to use my throat, my mouth, and just create loops just using my mouth and voice. And then maybe I'll put a little bit of reverb or something or some EQ on it. But I figure that helps them understand what the art form is. Because if I just immediately start with a lot of effects on the RC505, they'll think like I'm DJing or something. Like I'm talking about like the common person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I do like half my set just vocals, just vocal looping, no effects, and then maybe like the latter half I'll start bringing in more effects, kind of more EDM vibes, like the last track you heard, and then people tend to understand that better.
Well, it's good. Yeah, it's good to give them an intro and excuse me, allow them to go and have their ears ready for it and be like, okay, yeah. So he's doing it solo. Okay, that's all his voice loop, and then you can kind of segue into, now here's the possibilities of the machine and my voice.
Right, absolutely. And yeah, I realize that helps big time. What else do I do on sets? I don't do that many festivals like Loop Masters. Oh, I want to talk about this. The Loop Master was a 15-minute set, you said? Yeah, it was 15 minutes. the tricky part about like festival sets that you just have to keep going is that like on a loop station is that you know you have to stop at some point. You know what I mean? And then that kills the energy of the crowd. Like if you build a song and then you end it and it has to end there, like it's not like a DJ where you can like continue playing, you know, track after track after track. You can't do that. You can't do that loop station. So that's a little tricky. I'm trying to work on having like a consecutive set, like a 30-minute, maybe a 40-minute set of just looping without stopping in between. That's one of my goals. Yeah.
Do you think that having a second RC 505, that's something that I was thinking about? Yeah, because you could have stuff, you know, as you're building and playing, you could go and start building something else that would transition into it, you know?
Absolutely, and that's why I got I think that's the main reason I got the second device, the second RC 505, and yeah, I'm working on that. One of my goals is to play like at a major festival. I don't know, there's a bunch in America, but you know, having a beatboxer play at a major festival on a loop station, that would be sick. Kind of like Saro does in France, you know?
Absolutely. Saro's a monster. Absolute
Beast.
Monster. Yeah, man. So I know you got GBB coming up, and I know that you've been doing. I've been seeing, confound a few rather shows that you did in the online scene that have been going on due to obvious circumstances. Everything's been forced online. But could you just again, before I even start talking about how you got into beatboxing, I just want to know like how are you approaching GBB this year? How are you approaching GBB this year? What are your goals for it? And are you going to do something different other than maybe a secondary device? But is there something new that you're bringing to the table for yourself, or ways that you're preparing for it?
So I'm definitely trying to come out strong, like very strong in the beginning. And that's kind of a lesson I learned from previous battles. Like I did like GBB in 2015. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Versus Mando.
And then back then, like I didn't really understand battling. So what I did was I started out with something kind of simple, to be honest, and then I was saving up the good stuff for the later rounds. And I realized that is the completely wrong approach. Like you got to go heavy, your best stuff early, like in the first or second round, and then maybe the stuff that's a little bit worse in the end. And so that's my strategy. I have some new music, definitely stuff that nobody's ever heard, and hopefully the crowd will dig it. I'm just trying to have fun this time, no pressure.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get the opportunity, and it's going to be such a high level this year, especially with 2 years combined and wild cards combined, and having more than what you'd normally have in it for a selection to go and get through, just to get to top 8, I believe is what it's going to be. But even to get to that is going to be a big thing. So definitely a good idea to come out strong and just come out heavy and try to get in that thing. And it's going to be wild. I think it's going to be the new benchmark, and it's going to be like the highest level battle that's ever happened for sure.
It's gonna be insane. Like I saw the photos of the venue, and it's a massive place. Like, gonna be lit.
Yeah,
can't wait for the videos to come out and all that.
Right. I'm so looking forward to it, and the way that it was done in the previous edition of Grand Beatbox Battle with the walkout, it feels like WWF, and you know Maddox was killing it, and the whole team was killing it with the way they filmed it and the cuts and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time.
Likewise, man. It's gonna be amazing.
So when you get into beatboxing, from New Jersey originally, and before I start off with what you've been saying, or what your kind of story was, you did an interview with Rutgers beatboxer, competes internationally, and you said beatboxing is like music and magic at the same time. So that's a throwback a little bit, but I still like the way that you paired that, because I find that it always happens too, that it's musical, but it has that aspect of, it's a magical thing to go and see an individual take a microphone and deliver a performance where people are not used to it, and even if they are, take it in their own direction. And before I ask, like, I just want to get your opinion on that statement. Looking back on that statement now, just what do you feel about that? Because I like the way you said it.
You know what's crazy? Since I started using my loop station with effects, some of that magic has been taken away because like people don't understand it as much. When it's raw beatboxing, just me and the microphone, then it's like a direct connection. Like anybody can understand whether you're 5 years old or 70. A little bit of that is lost on the loop station. So that's my thoughts on that. But I mean, on the plus side, you could do a lot more on the loop station that you can't do like musically well. You can do a lot more on the loop station than you can with raw beatboxing. So, I mean, beatboxing is magic. I agree. Still is, always will be. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's good though, and I'm excited. I'm excited to go and see what you bring to the table. You say you started beatboxing around 2004ish with the guy Effects from E-Bomb's World. You see the video, classic video where he's in Florida and doing wind covers and all sorts of stuff on that stage. And it's wild to go and think from that video to 2011 being your first intro into the scene, essentially the 2011 American Beatbox Championship. Meeting people before that, but that was like the first major competition that I saw you in. And what were you doing in between that time? I've been practicing, and you're doing it at high school, and you're doing performances around. But before you came to get into the American Champs in 2011, had you met other beatboxers, and what were you doing to expand yourself into the scene or finding other people that beatbox?
I mean, 2011, that was definitely college years. And I was doing a lot of stuff in school, to be honest. Like I was doing all like the talent shows and the open mics. Any opportunity I got to like perform in school, like that was kind of like my training ground. I developed a lot of like my ability to perform and be in front of crowds confidently by doing a lot of these like open mics and talent shows back in college. And then 2011, yeah, that's when I submitted for the ABCs. Made it to the finals, lost to J-Flow. Yeah, that's a long time ago though. That's almost 10 years ago. I forgot about those battles.
And is that the first time that you ever met other beatboxers and actually battled?
I believe so. I mean, like actual pros, yeah. I believe it was 2011 American Beatbox Champion. It must have been, yeah, because before that it was just like, random people, like maybe like a friend in college had some beatboxing skills, but it wasn't like a pro. It was just a regular dude.
And during that time too, a question I usually ask is the idea of before YouTube and all the tutorials, and we had humanbeatbox.com with Tight doing the tutorials and those versions of the stuff. But how did you find yourself practicing without having such a huge wealth of knowledge to go and get from? Like this, there's not this big well that you can sit there and be like, I want to learn that sound today. There he goes, 12 tutorials on it. So right. Pushing yourself individually and not having other people to really jam with a lot, how did you push yourself to go and learn beatboxing and continue learning?
Right. Well, I did learn with Tight's tutorials, as you said, and that was, I don't know, it's pretty comprehensive. Like it covers quite a lot, like pretty much all the basics, all the fundamentals. But to push myself, I recorded it myself a lot. I don't know if I'm sure a lot of beatboxers do that, obviously. I recorded myself a lot, and if I'm trying to learn a sound, I'm sure y'all understand, like you just have to like explore every little mouth position, explore all the areas to find the sound that you want, and you just record yourself and repeat, rinse and repeat, and that's it.
I agree. Long time practicing.
Yeah.
Wild that you've been beatboxing for a good many years too, and it's again, you're still cutting it, you're still doing it, and you're still getting better and trying new things and improving, and that's something that I love to hear and see from people that actually continue to practice and continue to get better and don't just coast on those coattails of things that they've had success with. From 2011, you get vice champ. Again, not bad for a first time out. Vice champ of America, to go and jump and get that immediately in. And it was around that time too that you found looping, from what I can see. You said you started looping with an app on a phone or an app, and then you took that to a loop station. So was right off the bat when you started looping, you kind of like connected with it and you wanted to go and jump into the loop station game? or was it like, okay, there's this looping thing, but I'm still going to be the solo beatboxer?
I knew pretty early that like looping is the direction I wanted to take it, because I figured it was an advantage because nobody, like at least back then, it was very uncommon, like looping. It was mostly just solo beatboxing. And so yeah, I started on an app called Loopy on iOS, I think. And then it was just very natural and intuitive for me. I think I was inspired by Faith That's Effects. Him on the Loop Station, he did like this Frank Ocean cover back then. We All Try, I think that's the song. And that just musically that just blew my mind. I'm like, I need to get a loop station. And then ever since I've been making the looping the primary, focus. And I think it works well. I mean, some of the magic, in my opinion, is lost, right? But there are the benefits. Like you can perform for longer, and that's a huge benefit. Like especially if you're doing like hour-long shows. Like there's no way I could just do an hour-long show just beatboxing solo. So yeah, that's where the loop station really helps. Anybody, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I recommend any beatboxer really if you're doing solo beatboxing only, just experiment, explore with a loop station. It's it opens up so many doors.
And before you found beatboxing, or as you found beatboxing, do you have any training musically? Do you play piano? Did you practice with drums? Did you play saxophone or something? Was there something there's an instrument that you'd had that, other than what you would learn in basic school, did you take any interest outside of that and have music knowledge?
You know what's funny? I have zero musical experience or knowledge. Like none. I don't play any instruments. I have a little guitar. Is it over here? A little guitar over here. And it's just there for display, honestly. I haven't even like touched and yeah, but I wanna start picking up an instrument, like, maybe a little bit keys, maybe a little guitar. Because I feel like that would help open up more musical possibilities on the loop station. Yeah.
Definitely. When working with other people, especially too, it's good to have that knowledge. Like, I don't have that knowledge either. Someone's like, we're going to play today in a G scale. So you have to be like,
right.
Have to know that. You're like, oh, yeah, play your first note. All right. We're going to go from there and use that then.
Yeah. There was a point in time where I didn't even know where the middle C key was on the keyboard. And I was still killing it on the loop station. It was, I mean, a lot of the looping is, I mean, even though I don't have like the knowledge in theory, a lot of it is just like listening to it and like having the ear for good music, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and being able to replicate a lot of the stuff that gets people's attention, especially when busking. Again, going back to that, was the idea of connecting with your audience, not just doing necessarily rhythms and or beats, just making actual song replication where people like, I know that. Then you get their attention, then you can work it. So I can see that in a lot of your street performing when you first started as well, which is like 2012, 13-ish area, where you come back and it's where you got right into the scene and started just doing a lot of street performing. And there's a couple different little videos out there of people tracking you and doing interviews with you after the fact, of how it was going, how much money you can go and make by doing it that time, and how just in general, what's the day in the life of a street performing busker when it comes to beatboxing. So I always say this, that anybody who's a performer, it would probably serve them well to go and have some hours on the street, hours to go and work and make sure that they work the crowd to find it out, because it's maybe not all things are applicable to the street, but just that idea of being able to connect, having to build an audience, not having just to show up and you have a full audience, being able to go and figure out stuff, try stuff, and train in front of people. Was it easy for you to go and transition onto the street after doing open mics and performing at high school and or college, to go and jump on and take that initiative and get over that? A lot of people have fear of performing, and New York's a tough place to go and perform.
It was I'm not gonna lie, it was rough in the very beginning. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was researching other street performers to get like an idea of what they were doing. Back then I researched, because like in New York, who was there? Verbal Ace was street performing back then, and the Daichi was doing a little bit of street performing. He was in New York for a little bit. I saw a video of Gene busking in Times Square, and I was like, this is before I started, and I was like taking notes and like figuring out what equipment to bring and stuff. And yeah, the very first time I think I made like, I don't know, $25 or something like that. Not much. Um, but then after you do it for like a couple of weeks, you start getting the hang of it. There's like, I guess you could say like a formula to drawing crowds, and big part of it is, you know, building the beat fast because it's a fast-paced environment. People are coming in and out all the time, and so build the beat fast. Have a fat bass line in there, a nice beat. Also, bring better equipment. That's a big factor. Like that when I started to bring like a bigger speaker, like I upgraded from like a little custom PA 50 speaker. It's like one of these like small ones, and I upgraded to like a $800 QSC K10. And the sound difference is immense. Like you can tell the difference. And so even though the QSC is way heavier, I brought that in to busking, and then immediately I saw like the money increase. Yeah. And also, one more thing is that for looping at least, it's good to have a little sign that says this is all beatboxing. This is coming from the voice, because otherwise, often like probably like half the people that watch me, because they're not really paying attention heavily, so they probably think I'm just DJing. To be honest, a lot of people, yeah.
So I was going to ask you as a follow-up question, but you kind of answered it already. So you're saying make sure that you get yourself good equipment, make sure that you get a sign, and also get to your beat quickly so you can go and wrangle in the people and figure out the formula of a street show, which there's a lot of examples if you watch not only beatboxers, but just street performers in general have. Is there any other advice you'd give for somebody who's starting out, jumping on the street for the first time, whether it's ways to be more confident, ways to go and feel comfortable, but is there any other advice you would give to buskers essentially that are starting out?
Definitely work the crowd. Like you got to incorporate elements of the show, like put your hands up or like make some noise. Stuff like that will get them to like actually make noise, and them making the noise draws more people in. It's funny how that works. So every time I perform, I don't just make the beat and then just keep going with the beat. I always try to incorporate like a little bit of engagement between myself and the crowd, and that's what draws more people in, which is crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely. More people definitely respond when there's other people. They're like, oh, they like it. I like it. Okay. And they go from there and just see the crowd grow. So you start street performing a lot. You start putting in time. You did come up to Toronto and did the Toronto Beatbox Battle 2012. And going from there, is 2014 is a big year for you, though.
Yeah.
2014, not only do you go on to be a one-time, two-time, three-time, and overall grand champion when it comes to the amateur night at the Apollo, the Super Dog edition, where you go home and take home a check for 10 grand. But the title of amateur night at the Apollo champion, with the likes, sharing the likes of like Isley Brothers and Jimi Hendrix, Jackson 5, you know, Ella Fitzgerald was the first one to go and win that, and she took home $25. To you being the 80th edition of that, winning 10 grand. It's been ramping up. Some great names have come out of that. So you win that, and you also go on to win not only the New York version of Collaboration, but also the Collaboration Superstar version of it. So I believe it's called Superstar. I think it's called that. Collaboration Star, rather. And again, another 10 grand. Let's go. Yeah. So 2014, you take home those two massive accomplishments. Definitely get some traction in the world. People will start recognizing and get more bookings and everything. Could you kind of walk through what happened in 2014 from your end, your perspective, on how it was to jump on that classic, like legendary Apollo stage and kill it and win, and also winning Collaboration, the finals of that?
Yeah. I mean, definitely not having money and being broke was a big factor. That's like what drove me to audition for these two competitions. And then I still remember I auditioned. They liked it. I'm talking about the Apollo. You know, they liked it. And then, like you said, there's multiple rounds. If you want to win the finals, you have to win like 3 or 4 prior amateur nights. And then you just like, if you win the first one, then you advance to the next one, and then so forth. And I don't know, man. I guess I was in good fortune because I got to the finals, and it was like the top 9 best performers from all the amateur nights that were happening that whole year. And I just did the same thing, every round, just the same 3-minute piece. Again, you want to start out strong in the first 10 to 20 seconds, man. Like for the Apollo, I'd say the first 5 seconds, you have to start out strong. Otherwise, they will literally boo you off stage. And I remember seeing like there was this I think it was this Japanese dancer that came from all the way from Japan for amateur night, and her family flew in there. They're all there watching her. She was really talented. Like she was killing the sound check and all that, but like she wasn't really drawing people in the first 10 seconds, and she got booed off stage, and it was brutal, man. It's brutal. And so that's amateur night. Like I said, luck was on my side, a little bit of talent as well, and the 10K was really nice. And then collaboration star of the finals was 1 week after Apollo night finals. So yeah, it definitely was back-to-back checks, which is nice. For that, oh, that's interesting. That reminds me, Collaboration New York, which is the, not the finals in LA, but the version in New York. There was another beatboxer in the competition actually that competed against me, but it was Amit. But Amit was performing with a pianist named Lionel Yu, so they're like a little duo. Believe it or not, yeah. So that was cool. I did my thing. For the Apollo, I did just 3 minutes of solo beatboxing. For collaboration, I had a little more time. I had like a 10-minute set, so I did some solo. Definitely did something on the loop station. And yeah, the judges liked it. I got through the finals, won the finals. Great times, man. One of the best periods of my life, I'd say. Yeah, for sure. I'll never forget.
Yeah, and you had said in another interview that when asked about how your family feels about beatboxing and what their thoughts were, I thought it was something that kind of came through with just the way that you said it. You said your dad was saying that no matter what you chose, as long as you were the best you could possibly be at it, he would be happy for you. And that's got to reconfirm that, to come home and be like, I just won a huge competition at the Apollo. Oh, I also just won collaboration. Big wins coming our way. Yeah. So does that help out at home when you go and see them, and when they saw you win these things? Obviously proud of you, but like, how do they view it then, and how do they view it now after you've taken it on as a profession?
It definitely helps when you start like winning a little bit of money and getting some prizes. Because I mean, my dad has been pretty damn supportive from the very beginning. But like, family is family. Like they will always have like a concern about, stability and financial stuff, obviously, especially in an Asian house. But yeah, I'd say like winning those competitions, it definitely like cemented like, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm doing this like seriously. I'm not screwing around. This is gonna be my career, and it's my calling. I'm passionate about it, and I love it. And yeah, as soon as like you put your foot down and like express to them like you're being serious about this, and there's no other way around it. Like this is the plan. They'll support you. I mean, they'll support you. Yeah.
And how's it nowadays with other multiple corporate shows, as you said, killing college shows, and I'll bring obviously you could say the Eminem commercial that you just smashed. Let's go. Working with a violinist and singer and guitarist, Carly Ann and Jeremy, slapping it up, and such a cool idea for it. But how do they feel about it now? Still seeing you successful and almost 7 to 8 years later being a full-time beatboxer.
I mean, it's amazing to have their support. I mean, they're like, my family is like my #1 fan. Yeah, they all support me. They all follow me on Instagram. Like every time I have like a project that's coming out, like the Eminem's project, they share the video like to everybody I know. It's just awesome to have like that support system. Definitely.
I can't imagine people that have to go and maybe go against their wishes, and even if they mean it for the best, and never have that support. So it's a beautiful thing to actually have family that supports and cares and wants, obviously wants you to be well, but also encourages you and promotes you and does what a family, in my opinion, should do.
Yeah, because life is short, man. Like you only live once. I mean, I'm 31. I'm turning 32 this year, and that's already like, if you live to 90, let's say, that's already a third of my life, man. So I'm not gonna be wasting it doing anything else besides what I like to do.
True said, true story.
Yeah.
2014 again, slap it up, get a bunch of recognition, start getting more shows. And for people that are starting off, maybe who do well in a competition, whether it be Grand Beatbox Battle, their national championships, or a talent show version where it'd be Got Talent and or collaboration, Apollo, people that are doing well in this spectrum start getting attention. How was it for you to go and start getting people calling and saying, hey, can you do this show? Hey, can we fly you here and do this? Hey, can you do this? Just what was your personal experience and advice you can give to people that are starting to get to that next level of considering it an option to becoming professional?
Yeah, it's just when you get those calls, it's a learning process, especially like in the beginning when you don't have an agent, you don't have a manager, you're doing it all on your own. It's almost like you have to believe that you are worth the amount of money that you're getting paid. So never try, like, after you win like a competition like a Got Talent or the Apollo, whatever it may be, definitely I would say charge more money and like know your worth. Like, you're a beatboxer. This is a highly specialized talent that, you know, most people in the world are amazed by. So know your worth and charge some money, man. People will pay for it.
Absolutely. And that's also a good lesson and a hard thing for some people, especially like, I know when I started getting shows that were coming in with better numbers and stuff, you know, I did labor jobs for a long time outside of to pay for school and to pay for other things. You know, I was, you know, doing stuff like that. And you're sitting there like, so you're telling me you're going to pay me that much for 10-minute set or whatever. You're like, it's a hard thing for you to go and take in and think about what that can lead to. And again, I wish people would, as you said, know your worth if you're a beatboxer and make sure that you get the money that you deserve / the recognition you deserve, because you're not just messing around, especially when you're taking it serious, right?
Right. And make sure you deliver a good performance, a live performance as well. Obviously, that's important. So like the marketing side and the actual talent side and the building of the skill is important.
Yes, showing up not on time, doing something and not treating it as a profession, you won't be treated as professional, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, keeping on going, we bring it up to 2018. You go to the American Champs Loopstation Division, and you go home taking a W, beating BizKid, who now is phenomenal. He was then as well, but just stepping his game up all the time. Phenomenal. I believe he won the online World Beatbox Championships, if I'm not mistaken, in Loopstation, when it came to Beatbox Communities battle that they had. And you also beat Galush in the final. Also another monster, both from the United States, because obviously it was an American Champs. But you go there and you take home the title of American Beatbox Champion in the Loopstation division. Well, how was it for you to go and take home a national championship? And, you know, you can forever say at one point in time you have the championship and you were the best that year specifically, and it's kind of solidified your name within the beatbox community again to go and battle and win.
It was amazing, man. Just having that title and that, you know, 2018 American Loopstation Champion, just as a credential is huge. You could put it in your bio. I do that on Instagram and I put it everywhere, like on my website. Just, it's okay to flaunt your credentials as a performer. It definitely led to more gigs, in my opinion, and more bookings. Yeah, the experience was intense but amazing. I remember you were there. You were hosting. I remember the 3, 2, 1s.
Ayo.
Nerve-wracking though, to be honest. Battling is nerve-wracking for me. It's just a lot of pressure. I try not to stress out, but it just being, you know, just the format of having to like go against an opponent like back to back, like that battle format. It's just really intense. So I just try to keep it cool. Like, don't let my, you know, stress levels show. And I was very stressed. Just keep it composed, and I did my thing. Hands were probably shaking a little bit, but did my thing, and judges liked it, and a little bit of luck as well. Obviously, there's always a little bit of that. And I won it, and it's been great.
And what do you give for advice for people that are getting into battles? Because as you said, it's a nerve-wracking thing, but you've had experience in multiple different battles, And I'll ask you a follow-up question, but how do you prepare yourself mentally for a battle?
Mentally, you just have to repeat your routines, like get them down to a science. Like you have to know your routine like the back of your hand. And so if it's a song, like a 3-minute song, just make sure you remember all the buttons, man, and remember where all the effects are, and just do it over and over until it's like second nature. And that will take some of the pressure off. And maybe before you step on stage, drink a little bit of water, like, do a couple of jumping jacks, and you'll be good.
Is there any way that you specifically train when battle's coming up, knowing that obviously you have round lengths and whatnot, but is there anything you do differently in your training? Because I've heard guys doing like, jogging and beatboxing, or as you said, do some jumping jacks to get the heart rate up, or Skiller throwing on sweaters and jumping in a studio to go and make sure that he's getting that sweat on so he feels like he's ready to go. Do you do anything differently in your training specifically when it comes to battles?
Well, I wouldn't say training, but like before I step on stage on a battle, or really, on a battle, I just you gotta tell yourself positive thoughts, like positive affirmations. I'm a big believer, like if you, what you think becomes you manifest into reality. So, you got this. You're the man. They're gonna love it. Just positive affirmations constantly in your mind, and also like, just the body language has to be there. So, like I said, the jumping jacks. Or you can even like just like put your hands up like this and like just pretend like you have confidence, even though you might be shaking a little bit. Like these gestures, man, they help. Like I think they've done studies on like if you do like these power poses, your testosterone levels increase or something like that. And I've been doing that, like not just battles but in shows. I just like try to get amped up, power poses and like affirmations. And that stuff actually helps you perform better. It actually works.
I agree. I do. I definitely, before jumping on a stage, get myself hyped up.
Yeah, definitely.
Get ready to go. Yeah. Go there, win 2018, and bringing it back to 2015, qualifying for GBB, which is a huge accomplishment. Not only qualifying, but making the cut. And you lost to Mando, who ended up winning the whole competition. So you can't be mad at that. And the experience of jumping on the plane, was that I believe, if I'm not incorrect, it's that was your first international exposure competition when it came to just going over to Europe to compete. So what was going through your head when you jump on a plane for the first time over there to go and battle, and what has now become the biggest battle in the world?
Honestly, like I was younger back then, and looking back, like in retrospect, I think I put too much pressure on myself, man. Like I was like, I want to win, I want to win, I want to win. Like that's all that was going through my mind, and I feel like that can affect your performance and like your ability to enjoy the moment a little bit if you put too much like pressure to win on yourself. So yeah, I remember just being very hardcore, and like I lost. Obviously, Mondo was amazing, deserved to win, but I was like very disappointed in myself, and I was feeling pretty down for quite some time. Not gonna lie, because I flew from America, long flight, a lot of money. But it's a learning lesson too. Like you learn a lot from your losses, which like for this upcoming GBB, my attitude is totally different now. It's just like, do your music, have fun. That's my attitude now. If you win, amazing. If you advance, amazing. If not, you're gonna kick it with the community and have a good time regardless.
And other than that lesson, is there any other lessons that you're going to take forward to this version rather of GBB comparatively to your first time over?
Other lessons, just have fun and enjoy my time there. That's like the main goal, really. Obviously practice and have your routines down pat. Other than that, just don't put too much pressure on yourself and just enjoy yourself, which is the same thing I just said, but yeah.
Absolutely. And so again, so you've had national success, definitely, whether it came from the beatbox scene specifically or going into different competitions. You've been able to rise above, take home championships and big checks. And also now, being that you're still full-time as a beatboxer, doing college gigs, as you said, and corporate shows, and being able to go and do other styles of shows as well. What is coming up for the future for you? What do you have planned for the future aside from GBB, career-wise? What are things that you want to accomplish? And do you have music in the works that you're going to be coming out with? Is there something that you're working on currently, or just in general, where do you see that you want to go and have your career go in a trajectory way?
Well, in terms of live shows, I definitely want to expand to like different markets. Like the majority of my gigs come from colleges. Like that's my main kind of type of gig. But I do a little bit of other like corporate stuff and weddings and parties like that. I did a wedding like a couple of weeks ago, and like it went super well. I feel like that's a good market for beatboxing because nobody, at least that I know, is doing a lot of weddings, doing beatboxing. So that's like, these different types of shows I want to explore more. Also festivals. Yeah, like it would be sick to be on stage on like Coachella, for example, or something like that. That would be sick. On the loop station. So that's the live show aspect. In terms of like releasing music, I do plan on releasing an album. It's in the works. Like the ideas are there. It just needs to be recorded and all of that. Probably after GBB though, for sure.
And what would you want people to go and take away from an album you make?
Take away, just enjoy the music, man. Hopefully like they play it and like blast it on their speakers and it gets them dancing, because that's really it. Just get them to dance and move.
I fully agree with you. If you can get people moving and dancing, I think it was there's a lot of people have said this, but I think it was Reeps that stuck out to me when he was like, if you can get people actually dancing, you're doing it right. And something along these lines. I'm definitely butchering the quote, but something along these lines he said. So it's definitely a good way to go and think about it. I'm excited to go and see you at GBB, man, for sure. But at this point in time, I want to switch over to another section we call Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire questions, all right? So the way this is going to work is I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions in quick succession, and I want you to go and give the answers that come to your head first. Are you ready?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 59, I do believe. Let me make sure of that. Is it 59? It is episode 59. We're right here with Sung Beats, and this is now going to be Rapid Fire on Beyond the Beats. Rapid Fire. Question number 1. Who is your favorite current solo beatboxer?
Trung Bao.
Who is your favorite tag team?
Kacha.
Who is your current favorite loop station artist?
Sorrow.
Current favorite crew?
Beatbox House.
What is your current favorite sound, and can you do it for us?
Still the... That's it.
Who is your favorite tennis player?
Roger Federer, man.
What is the longest match you've ever played in tennis?
2 hours? 3 hours? I don't know.
What is your favorite tennis match you've ever watched?
Djokovic versus Nadal. I watched the highlights yesterday.
Okay. What is your favorite Korean meal?
Kalbi.
What is your favorite meal overall if you had to eat something?
Pizza.
What is your favorite place to eat in New York?
Chipotle.
What is your favorite place to eat in your hometown?
Dante's Pizza.
Where would you live aside from New York?
Seattle.
And my last question is, who's going to win the Grand Beatbox Battle Loop Station Edition 2021 other than you?
Let's hope Biscuit.
Jeez! Rapid Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, Rapid Fire with Sung Beats. Rapid Fire. Right now, too, I want you all, if you're sitting in the chat, we have the big homie, big shouts to Hydeville, by the way. He's running the stream, Ilya. I want you to put your questions in if you have any questions that have come up, and he'll pick out some of the best questions through this process, because we're going to get to another section, and we're going to get some questions coming from the live stream as well. And I know he's already sent me a few, but get your questions in now. Anything you want to ask to Mr. Sung Beats. Now we're going to get to a section called Questions from
My Friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni
has a few questions for you. He wrote me this morning and knew you were coming on, so he has a few questions. So we've talked about a few of these things, but he wants to know,
My Friend Papuni
would like to ask you, what is your favorite battle you have ever seen live?
I think it was Article versus Ryu, American Beatbox Championships 2019. Yeah.
Yes, very fire.
My friend Papuni.
With a follow-up, what's the favorite video you've seen in video? What's just your favorite? Is there something that you watch over and over again?
Oh, Starro versus MB14.
Yes, absolutely.
My friend Papuni
has more question. Who's somebody in Grand Beatbox Battle you'd like to battle and share a stage with if you had the opportunity?
Biscuit.
Oh, wants to go and get that going from the US. Okay. And
my friend Papuni
wants to know, is there anybody that you would not want to have to battle at the Loop Station division if you got through to the end in the battle rounds? Is there someone that you're nervous of to go and battle necessarily?
Sin.
Sin. Yes, he's a monster. His last piece he put out, craziness.
My friend Papuni.
He just says, on October 19th, you will arrive, and we are very excited to see him. So he wants to know, what other plans do you have while you're coming over to Europe? Do you have any other plans while you're in Europe? Are you going to go anywhere else to any other country? Or are you going there just for the battle? Or you have any other plans to stick around?
Just for the battle. I think I have like this gig right after, like the week after I have a gig, or like a couple of days after GBB I have a gig. So I can't stick around too long in Europe, but that's that.
True enough. Well, it'll be nice to see you there as well, my friend.
My friend Papuni
wants to know, let me see. Oh, there's a good question. He wants to know, what do you think, or yeah, well, I'll put it in his words. What do you enjoy most personally about the beatbox scene?
The beatboxing in general, okay. Just the ability to like express my music and make other people happy and have a good day is priceless.
Very well said.
My friend Papuni.
What is? You've already answered this. You said Coachella, but I'll say other than that.
My friend Papuni
wants to know, what would be a stage you would love to perform on? Where would you like to be able to perform? What type of concert? If you have one stage, one concert, one thing you could go and perform at, what would it be?
EDC Las Vegas, baby.
Let's go.
My friend Papuni
wants to know, he says, you just, he saw you do a ad for M&M's. He says, congratulations on the good work. And out of curiosity, what other brands would you like to work with and why? So if you had a chance to get sponsored by a brand, from cars to shoes to anything else. So is there a brand that you'd like to work with, and any sponsors that you'd like to get if you had the ability to go and get it, or not ability, but the opportunity were to come up? Who's someone that you think you personally align with and like to work with?
Can't go wrong with Coca-Cola, man. Or like, yeah, Coca-Cola is just one of the biggest like brands you could think of. And just the exposure and the publicity I get from that would be massive. Yeah.
Definitely a good one. Let me see. One more question from
my friend Papuni.
He wants to know. Okay. Where do you put most of your focus on when it comes to beatboxing?
On looping, obviously. Looping and the live performance aspect is where I work on a lot. Just stage presence, stuff like that.
Those were questions from
my friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni.
Thank you very much. And I forgot to go and ask you during, but I'm going to bring that back for another second. Part 2. Who is your favorite battle rapper?
Disaster.
What is your favorite battle rap you've ever seen?
It was Iron Solomon versus Math Hoffa. It was a long time ago, though.
Classic battles. And I saw, too, that you've done work with Dumbfounded, and I know that you've done shows where, I don't even know, there's a bunch of kids, and he was rapping and you were beatboxing for them. And that's a very cool thing. That guy's super dope. He does great work and always delivers well. And I know he's doing other stuff now. I've seen him on All Def Media and all sorts of places. So big shout out to Dumbfounded, by the way. Big ups to you, Dumbfounded.
Big ups.
Now we have questions from coming in hot. Our lovely audience. Our lovely audience has a few questions. Someone has asked, how long does it take to make up a new loop station routine?
That varies tremendously. Like certain routines, if you run into like a challenge of like trying to get a certain sound effect working in the mix, some can take like up to a month or two even. Some are I haven't even finished because I just can't like break through that like obstacle. And some you'll like create in like a day. So it just varies depending on what it is.
Absolutely. Crowd with another question. Ish. They want to know, will you participate in the tag team loop station category? If so, who would you want as your partner?
I haven't thought about it, man. I'm just too focused on singles right now. Solo. Maybe in the future I'd be open to it. Who? Probably Biscuit, yeah.
That'd be tight to the tag team. You guys would be repping America super hard. Another question from the audience. Ish. They want to know, are you planning on dropping another shout out for Swiss Beatbox after the most recent one, which was Bring the House Down?
I'm totally down for that, yeah. I could definitely do another shout out for sure, yeah.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, questions from the audience. If you have any more, bring them up right now and we'll go and get into them. Once again, questions from the audience. We had questions from
My friend Papooni.
My friend Papooni.
and we also had coming at you live and direct beyond the beats right here live with Sung Beats, episode 59. Is there something else that you want to talk about that I haven't touched on before we I possibly ask you to do another little showcase if you'd have it in you? But is there anything you want to go and talk about in the scene? Any questions you have, I don't know, for me, or anything that you want to go and talk about that we haven't touched on before we jump out of here, brother?
Maybe like a little word of inspiration for like the youth or like beatboxers that's trying to get into this, especially like if you want to make a living just out of beatboxing, just put yourself out there early, man. Like I started beatboxing when I was 13, right? But I didn't like I quit my job at 24, and that's when like I started to take it seriously, like seriously, and that's when I but that if I took it more seriously like when I was a teenager or like in my early 20s, and like maybe if I skipped college, let's say for example, and I just started to pursue my career earlier, I feel like I'll be farther ahead than I am now. So you don't want to be like doing this too late. Just make sure you do it early and see what happens.
Those are wise words because I believe you're around the same age as me as well.
Yeah.
And it's definitely good to get out there early on so you can actually get a head of steam essentially. But you did the college thing. You got a job in Vegas and did some work there for a while and decided to go and really pursue this. And something can be said for all the parents out there as well too, and people in general. It is not a bad idea whatsoever to pursue education and have yourself educated to make sure that you can also apply that to beatboxing most times, whatever it is that you're learning. So, but I do agree with you. It's a good idea to go and really try to jump after and really try to pursue beatboxing if that's what you want to do. Another question someone had from our audience, Ish. Ish.
Ish.
Ish.
Ish.
Ish.
Ish.
Ish.
Ish.
Another question. Mouse want to know, what is your favorite city that you've performed in?
Shout out to my man Miles. Favorite city. I mean, it must have been Berlin for the Loop Masters. Dope city. Yeah, Berlin.
All right, very good. Very good. Berlin's too dope. Love Berlin. Shouts to everybody in Berlin, all the German beatbox scene. Everyone's doing it. And I know that obviously Shazam, Sin, Maddox, there's a bunch of Sinjo, you can Babily. I'm gonna miss out on Mando. I'm gonna miss out on a bunch of them. I don't mean to. Kevin O'Neill. I don't want to go and not say someone's name. Robeat. Oh man, now I'm gonna have to go and really think it. No, I'll stop just going. If I didn't mention you, it's nothing personal. I just was mentioning a handful of people off the top of my head. But shout out to the German scene. Again, thank you very much for jumping on. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you've done in the scene. I look forward to seeing where you're taking it, spreading the art form in a positive way, and being able to go and represent for the United States in such a good way, and putting that forward, and being able to go and be showing beatbox in a positive light, and smashing it, by the way. I'm looking forward to seeing you and introducing you on the Grand Beatbox Battle stage when it comes up, and seeing what you bring to the table. But before we jump out of here, you got another beat you could go and spit us, because people have been asking through this entire time. So if you'd be so kind, I don't know if you have something. Doesn't, whatever you feel in the moment. But would you be down to do another beat for us?
Yeah, sure. I'll do a little. All
right, ladies and gentlemen, still here, episode 59 with some beats. You already know what to do. I'll say the 3, y'all say the 2 and the 1 in 3.
Oh, I'm not doing this one. Sorry. Do this.
Switch.
Swiss beatbox. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 1. Give it a 1, 1. Give it a 1, 2. Give it a break. Give it a revolution. Give it a break. Revolution. Give it a break. Give it a break. Revolution. Shout out to my man Scott Jackson. Shout out to Papuni, the whole Swiss beatbox team. My name is Sun Beats. It's been a pleasure.
Love that beat every time, man. That's classic. Coming at you live and direct. Actually, something that just came up to my mind that I didn't even bring up. Have you ever gone back? Have you ever gone and met with other beatboxers? Specifically, have you gone to Korea and met the beatbox scene in Korea? Because I could see it blowing up, like absolutely smashing with everybody from 2H, Hiss, Big Man, Cloud, HS, like so many crazy beatboxers. Have you ever gone and connected with that scene?
I haven't been to Korea since like 2011. I've only been there once to visit once in 2011, and I haven't made the trip. I was actually gonna visit during COVID. Before COVID, I was planning to, in 2020 visit to Korea, but it hasn't happened. Maybe next year, maybe sometime in the future. I'd love to connect with the scene there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's hope that we see you on something like Beatbox to World, some championship there. I think it'd be dope for you to go and get involved there too, man, because I know that you're definitely one person people can go and look up to and be like, go and push the scene. So just randomly came to my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, wait a second, I gotta go and ask real quick. Aside from that, straight up, where can people go and follow you, support your music? And I know you have a website. I know you have Instagram. What's your handles for people to go and follow you at here, brother?
Yeah, that's It's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even a little bit of TikTok. It's at Sung Beats. It says it on my shirt right here. Across all platforms, Sung Beats. Yeah, probably Instagram's my favorite though.
And what's your website?
Sungbeats.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you guys go check out Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, some on TikTok. Apparently, I still don't have the TikTok. I need to go and maybe look into that. But jump on there, support the homie right there, and go on his website as well. Check out projects that just came out, as well as having Eminem's commercial, more music coming out on his YouTube channel. And I'm so excited to go and see you once again in the flesh, in person, and see you on Grand Beatbox Battle stage this year. And I wish you the best of luck, my friend. Aside from that, thank you for coming on and joining us on the show. I really do appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Thank you so much. You've been killing it, Scott. I look forward to GBB and the 3, 2, 1 countdowns, man.
Jeez.
Let's go.
I will be saying the 3. Well, everyone says the... when it comes to GBB stage. We'll be having another live stream as well tomorrow. Check it out. We'll be having the announcements of the crew and tag team when it comes to the Grand Beatbox Battle, who won the wild cards. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow to see who won those wild cards. Aside from that, call your friends and family, tell them you love them. Checking in on your friends, and keep that beatbox sword sharp. Keep practicing. Get on the loop station, take some inspiration, and make sure that you check out more of Sung Beats, because he's coming for that. I want to see him on that stage. Grand Beatbox Battle 2021 World League Edition. Let's go. Aside from that, your friend Scott Jackson saying much love to everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back again next week. So keep tuning in. Swiss Beatbox, all that good stuff. Thank you for tuning in, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to go and say, that's time.
Ha ha.